Hi, I'm Thomas Piper from Scrub Squad 1978 for episode 2 of Scrub Squad 1978 All Access, and it starts now. I'm here with Hannah Bryant from Atlas, and we're going to break down a bill rate for you.
Gonna be so fun.
We're gonna have screenshots of it.
They're all looking at it.
And she's gonna explain why everything works how it works, and take the bill rate and see what the traveler gets on their end.
And I'll start out by saying I have no problem giving travelers bill rates as long as they are willing to listen to the breakdown so they know where the money's going. It's really easy for me to tell you a bill rate and not understand the breakdown of those costs, and you get frustrated because you think your agency is making a lot more money off of you than they are. So we chose a labor and delivery job in Florida. They use a VMS called Health Trust. This is an HCA position. So initially when hey Thomas, you're suddenly a labor and delivery nurse with a Florida license or a compact now. So if you came to me, you know, this was a job you were interested in, this is where we're going to start. They give us quite a bit of job descriptions on this one. Well, not a ton. A lot of it they just take from their website. So this is just explaining what a labor and delivery nurse is, which let's hope you know that since you are a labor and delivery nurse. And then it's just telling me exactly what I have to submit. So this really tells me nothing about the hospital, the unit. So at this point, I'm gonna go onto their website or another website called American Hospital Directory that gives a lot more information about the facility and unit specific information. And that's what I'm gonna try and provide to you. So we'll pretend like we did that. And I'm gonna say, hey, just so you know, Thomas, they can cancel you one shift every 4 weeks. So you know their call-off policy right off the bat. We're not, if you're like, that's a deal breaker for me, we move on to the next one. Those VMSs are never going to change their call-off policy. And this actually is not an HCA hospital. It's just under their VMS umbrella because all HCA hospitals guarantee hours. So There's your fun fact of the day. We know it's a night shift. It's Health Trust, and they charge us 4% of the bill rate that the hospital has approved. So I'm going to create my scratch sheet here, which is how we calculate what we're going to pay you. This is saying that there's already some in there if I want to compare them to anything else that we have in there, which we will, especially if we have a lot of travelers at the same facility. I'm going to run those numbers by. So we have, first thing I do, I make sure all the hours are right. So it's distributing our costs over 13 weeks, which is important. If an assignment is 4 or 8 weeks, you're gonna see a lower number in our gross profit because we're not able to spread those costs out over 13 weeks instead. 36 hours a week, 12 hours a day, 3 days a week, all that looks right. So it's always gonna default me to $20 an hour. And this is what it's recommending I pay. It's not accurate. So our bill rate here is $72 an hour. And they are saying for overtime, we can charge $80 an hour. So this is not a case where what we can charge or what we can bill for overtime is truly time and a half off of that base bill rate. And this is pretty typical with Health Trust and a lot of those HCA hospitals. Some, our multiplier is like 1.3% of that base rate. Sometimes it's 1.4, 1.5. It just depends on the facility. So this is telling me what I have, and then I'm going to go down to here to what I can actually give you. And well, I don't need to tell them that yet. So it defaults to us giving you $500 travel. That's just our standard package. We can adjust it if you feel like you need more. Just realize that it's that bill rate. You're just putting more of it into your travel. So we do $250 on the first check, $250 on the last check. It gives me an option if you're taking our company housing, that's where I would put that number. It's always going to default to the standard per diems and housing, $357 and $651. I'll go ahead and verify that on the GSA website. Just make sure that I can't get you more. A lot of companies now will not go under $20 an hour taxed, so I'm going to put as much as I can tax-free into your package, but it may not always be maxed out, and that's a common misunderstanding. A lot of travelers go to that GSA website and they say, my company is only giving me $1,000 a week tax-free. The GSA site says I should be taking $1,400 a week tax-free. That's a maximum amount. That's not necessarily, that doesn't mean that the bill rate's going to allow for me to give you that without making your hourly super low, and you're going to get red flagged for an audit.
You're making $7 an hour taxable. It's
Right,
probably not,
no, probably shouldn't do that. And then this is just a place where I can put any miscellaneous costs. Like if I know I'm going to have to get you a license, I want to make sure those costs are accounted for. And then this next guy, this is our burden. So Atlas has a $72 bill rate. The hospital sends us a check. That's income to Atlas. We have to pay applicable taxes on that. So these are the taxes that we're paying. And these are things that I can't mess with. Automatically, we know that we're going to have to get you the ACA fingerprint for the registry down in Florida. So that cost is in there. I can't do anything about that. So Atlas is paying, and this is on top of what you as the traveler are paying. Atlas is paying 2.71% for Florida unemployment. They're paying 2.05% for Florida workers' comp. We allot $350 for a background check. Depending on how long you've been traveling, it could be more or less. If you've lived in 15 different counties, you're probably looking at about $700 for a background check. So that's not always an accurate cost, but we find it to be an average cost. Our drug screens cost $32. So we're paying 1.45% to Medicare. We're paying 6.2% to Social Security. We do a lot for an act of kindness in our budget. And then this is our overhead cost, is $4 an hour. That's what it costs to do business, whether it's paying our salaried staff, paying the rent on our building, all of our licenses to do business. Everything comes out of that $4 an hour. And then we're doing 0.6% to federal unemployment. So this one has... and this is a good one to talk about. So this position has 320 hours that we cannot bill for orientation. We are going to take that out of the burden, so we don't spread it out over the entire package, or it doesn't come out of your package. Okay. There are, some companies, their remedy to that is to say, well, you're just getting paid your hourly for your orientation hours. Everybody does it a little different. They might do a different pay rate. Some might put it into their burden. Most will put it into their pay package.
Okay.
And then we have, Rich is going to Cunningham's, just so you know. And then we allot money for the TB skin test because those are annual. So, and then we're paying Health Trust 4%. So that puts our burden at 17.01% of that $72 an hour. So 72 times 1702. So that's $12.25 right off the bat.
Okay.
That's just in the taxes and the VMS fees. So I will take 72 minus that $12.25 an hour. I do have to add our $4 an hour to that. So the true bill rate that we are working with is $55.75. That's you not making any money. That's us not making any money. And obviously, these companies we're not nonprofits, so we have a piece of the pie that we have to make. So I'm going to update these expenses. Maybe. I always have to update them before it'll show me. So if we just keep you at that $20 an hour taxed, $651 weekly housing, $357 weekly per diems, Atlas's gross profit off of that is $9.11. So off of a $55, what everybody has, essentially you're taking home 46 of that. And then Atlas is keeping the rest. This would, they don't like us below 10, if we're being honest. There's lots of other companies out there higher, and I've seen a lot of other companies going lower right now. So I would say at this point we're in the middle. Some people are trying to meet the supply with lower pay packages to boost their numbers, just because this market is so competitive right now.
Sure.
There's more nurses than jobs. It's changing. I see it changing. It just hasn't made that complete turn yet. So I would say that this is going to be a pretty accurate pay package for us to quote you. Are we maxing out your per diems? Probably not, but we can't give you any more without reducing your hourly.
So what's the weekly gross, if you would?
Sure. So you're making $20 an hour tax times 36 hours a week, 720. And then we had that 651 in weekly housing, which is untaxed, 357 for per diem, so 1,008. So your weekly gross on that one would be 1,728. And then I use a website called Paycheck City to give you a more accurate breakdown of this. And in Florida, it's not going to make a huge difference because they don't have a state income tax, so it's going to be pretty close to that number. But you're married. You probably claim one, right?
Yes.
Let's go with that. Okay. I always recommend to travelers to make sure that you're covering your butt at home. Ask your company to take out taxes in Ohio as well, because there's nothing worse than owing at the end of the
taxes
year.
that you didn't know about.
Yeah. The benefit to keeping your tax-free a little higher and your hourly around that $20 an hour if possible is that you are going to have to report less, for taxes, and you're normally going to fall into a lower bracket. So it's a win-win. So I'm just inputting this based off Florida's taxes. It won't factor in Ohio. I'd have to do that separately. And I always tell people this is before any benefits, because I have no clue what you're going to elect for benefits, so I can't give you an accurate quote there. So we just add this number to your tax-free, and you're bringing home $1,630.08 a week. So you lose about $98 a week to taxes.
That's not bad.
Not terrible.
Okay.
And that's if you're a labor and delivery nurse for Florida. Call me. No, I'm just kidding. So, does that help?
Yes, that
What
helps.
questions do you have?
I think it explains, especially, we're going to do some screenshots here, but especially you get $72 an hour and see how much of that actually goes to different things. Like, obviously, you're not being
And
overly wealthy.
72 sounds like, gosh, I should be making a decent amount. But then after we went over the taxes and you find out that it's really $55 an hour that we're working with, that's a
I'd be happy
huge
with
change.
$1,600 take home pay every week.
And us making $9 an hour off of that, right? I think something else that's important for travelers to consider, not all agencies have this kind of transparency. So, if I was working at a different company, I might not be able to see any of this. I might just be told what I can pay. And sometimes I can run my own scratch sheets, but I'm not seeing where this money goes. So if your recruiter doesn't have all the questions, it may not be that they're trying to be evasive. They just might not know. But once again, that's an honest conversation you need to have with them.
Certainly.
I love that. I love knowing where the money goes. I'm the type of person that needs the visuals, the explanations, so to better help me understand and feel comfortable with that. And so I do the same to everybody else and share that information and hope that knowledge is power and they feel better about a pay package. So if I told you this bill rate's $72 an hour and you're like, you're only giving me $46, you're making a ton of money off of me. It's different than the conversation we just had, right?
Yeah, that you're making $9
Yeah.
off me. So, and that's understandable. So this video is going to be one of the videos that's on the Scrub Squad 1978 group and the website. And I'm sure Hannah will be available if you have any other further questions.
Absolutely.
You can comment or PM her. And if you have any questions for me, let us know. Thanks for joining.